What's up everyone, Master Fox here today, and I'm bringing you a Yu-Gi-Oh! Top 10 list of the best custom alternate artwork on cards. So what do I mean by custom alternate artwork? Well, alternate artwork refers to kind of the official Konami cards with different artwork than their original print. Examples would be Blue Eyes and Dark Magician. A lot of the Duelist Kingdom era cards have alternate artwork prints. Konami's not really too into printing alternate artworks of cards that already exist. Even if they're printing them for a second or third run, they'll usually just print the same artwork over and over again. A good example of this is Utopia. I'm sure everyone has like 5 or 6 copies of Utopia lying around and they all look the same. So the difference here is this is custom alternate artwork, so essentially these cards are using artwork from people who've drawn these cards themselves and then just kind of cut and paste them onto cards. So these are custom alternate artworks for that reason. It's different from altered artwork where you would take like a Blaster Dragon Ruler of Infernos and turn it into a Charmander or something. That would be altered artwork because you're altering the original artwork. Whereas in this, it's alternate artwork because it's the same monster but you're just drawing it in a different position or in a different style or something like that. I'm a big fan of artwork and especially Yu-Gi-Oh! Card artwork in general. So this is something that I really enjoyed to kind of search through and see what people have created. Keep in mind that these are just my opinions and obviously I have some inherent biases and different things that I may like that maybe your interest doesn't align with exactly. I think these art pieces that I selected show a lot of different skill and styles that I think you should be able to appreciate even if you don't necessarily agree with the placement on the list. So without further ado, let's get right into it. Number 10, Celtic Guardian. Celtic Guardian was always one of my favorite monsters growing up with the show, and seeing this rendition of Celtic Guardian having a much more action-based pose than the original card, I feel like this rendition really does the card a lot of justice. Number 9, Elemental Hero Stratos. This is everybody's favorite elemental hero, obviously. Free my brother Stratos. Although I felt that the original artwork of Stratos was rather boring and bland, this rendition of Stratos kind of makes him look really badass and has kind of this dark scheme to it that I really like and I found suited the card as the core of the elemental heroes. Number 8, Cyber End Dragon. Cyber End Dragon was always one of those awesome cards in Yu-Gi-Oh! GX, and he was the direct parallel to Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon, except this time he was much easier to summon and he was much more dangerous as well. I feel that this rendition of Cyber End Dragon is really unique because it features the master of the card itself, Zane, on it, and I think this would be a really cool card if Konami printed it. Number 7, Black Rose Dragon. I always liked the artwork of Black Rose Dragon, but I feel that this rendition really brings out the plant part of Black Rose Dragon. Black Rose Dragon in this really basically looks like a giant rose. Only when you stare at it closely can you see the dragon features of it. Number 6, Elemental Hero Absolute Zero. Yes, I know that Stratos was already on the list, but when I saw this version of Absolute Zero, I had to stop for a moment because he just looked so metallic in this ice. He kind of reminded me of Mega Mobius, but in a more regal fashion than even the Monarch himself. Number 5, Herald of Perfection. I know, basically everyone hates seeing this card on their opponent's side of the field and them just dumping everything to negate their stuff. But I felt that the art, Herald of Perfection, it didn't really live up to its name of being perfect. But in this version, it really looks like a machine-like god. Like it is truly this entity created to be perfect. Number 4, Obelisk the Tormentor. Yes, now we finally have one of the Egyptian god cards on this list, and this version is simply scary. He looks incredibly menacing with the way he's drawn with the dragon lines and kind of the dark shadows over him. He kind of has this Zork-like essence to him. I really find this to be a well done version of Obelisk. Number 3, Dark Magician. Of course, no list is complete without Yugi's ace card, Dark Magician. I feel that this version captures the dark black magic essence of Dark Magician, as his original name in the OCG was actually Black Magician, signifying his practicing of the black arts and dark sorcery. And this version gives him this white hair, that the shadow over his eyes kind of brings out this sense of darkness. It gives Dark Magician this enigmatic appearance that I really find suits the character of the card. Number 2, Blackwing Armor Master. I really think that the original art of Blackwing Armor Master was actually fantastic, but in seeing this version of him, you get to see him up close and his armor and just the way the color scheme and the lighting is in this version, especially with the red accents on him. He really looks amazing, and I kind of am reminded of Black War Greymon from the Digimon series with this. Black War Greymon was an awesome Digimon, and just to see that kind of essence here, it's hard not to like. Alright, so before we get into our number 1 slot, let's look at some honorable mentions. First up is Psychic Lifetrancer. Looking at this version of Psychic Lifetrancer, she really has that android, psychic, humanoid combination in her, and it just brings out the card itself. The next honorable mention goes to GB Hunter, a card I always found interesting for being a ninja-like counter to the Gladiator Beast deck, a deck that is one of my favorites and I still enjoy playing to this day. This rendition is interesting because I don't even know what's going on or how this idea came about, but definitely points for the scantily clad GB Hunter. And the next honorable mention goes to Brotherhood of the Fire Fist Cardinal. This version looks very similar to the original if you just glance over it, but it is actually a kind of impressionist take on it where the colors become more vivid and the lines become more blurred, and I'm always a fan of impressionist art. And the last honorable mention goes to Elemental Hero Avion. Yes, yet another Elemental Hero. It's hard for me to really choose when a lot of the alternate artwork is of Elemental Heroes, and it has to do with their popularity, obviously. And this rendition of Avion just looks really badass to me. And then finally, for the number 1 alternate artwork card, we have Thousand Eyes Restrict. Yes, this card was incredibly scary to me when I saw Pegasus summon it against Yugi. And this rendition of it truly captures that fear-mongering essence of the card itself. It just looks horrendous and monstrous, and I think that's what the Thousand Eyes Restrict should look like. I think the original card artwork was done very well too, but this version is just much more monstrous and less child-friendly, but still very awe-inspiring. So that was my list for the top 10 alternate artworks in Yu-Gi-Oh! Tell me what you guys think about the list in the comments section below. Give this video a like if you enjoyed it, and that's it for this video. I'll see you guys in my next video. Thank you.